Okay, so this is a more off-the-cuff video about how to import your Photoshop brushes into Toon Boom Harmony. This video is sponsored by the subscribe button, so click that. On this channel we do the technical side of media and animation, so click that button and join the crew. Okay, so in this video we'll be using Jazz's brushes, so if you want to go into the description or into the card, there's a link to his brushes, yes. So which one we'll be using in this one, just to demonstrate, we'll use the brush, the large brush. So that's what it looks like. It layers on top of itself. So first, make sure you have your brushes panel open. If you don't have that, go Window and then Brushes. So once you have that open, then select the brush you want. So our large brush. Go up here to these three lines and export selected brushes. And then we label this brush. So it's Jazza large brush. So now that we've done that, you need to be able to export the textures from it. So as you can see, there's different textures that make up it. So if we go into our brush settings, you can see we have, if we go onto there, you can see you have one texture that kind of looks like the shape of the brush there, and you also have a dual brush. So you have another texture you have another brush which looks different there. So those two make up the brush. So we'll also have to export that. So I use ABR Mate, which is an application, so we can go Open Brush Set, go to our folder, Jazza Large Brush. So as you can see, those are our two textures that I was just referring to. If you are a macOS user, I haven't found an application, so yeah. So we can go Export all open brushes to PNGs, find our folder, and then we can just click OK. So now we have our large brush and our two textures. So next, we have to open both of the textures into Photoshop. Something about Harmony is that for some reason it doesn't like if you have a transparent background. So what we're going to have to do is on each of these, just grab your fill tool, add a layer below and just fill it in. And then just merge it down, save, do the same twice on both of them. And now we've got the files ready to be able to do it. So we can go to Harmony, and you can see I've got no textures imported, just so you can see how obvious it is how it works. I'm going to create these as vector brushes, so make sure you have a vector layer on. Now you can't really do this on the pencil tool, so we have to use the brush. So the brush, if we go onto here and we add a new preset, and we call this Jazza Large Brush. Make sure it's really obvious what you've called it, just so you know which one you're referring to. So let's go to tip. Now you see, make sure you're on textured vector, and we want to add our texture. So we want to add our texture. So our main part of the brush is this texture. So we want to open that one, and you can see we have our large brush. Then if we enable or disable paper texture, don't need that for now, and then dual tip. We want to add our second one. So you see you've got your normal one and your second tip. So now we need to actually set our settings. So go back to Photoshop. So the nice thing here is we can have our brush settings open here and then our Photoshop settings open here. So if we go to Photoshop, make sure our brush large is selected. So let's focus on our first brush. Our size is 120. So we want to set our maximum size to 120. And we want to say proportional to camera. You can copy some of these settings, so roundness and angle, pen tilt sensitivity. This one doesn't actually have rotation, so I won't use that. So that's fine for the first bit. And if we go transparency, so this is where you can set your settings here where it kind of fades out. So if we look at this, shape dynamics, you can see size jitter is 18. Our size jitter is 18, so we can set that size jitter at the bottom wherever this was here. Size to 18%. Angle is 0. Spacing is 0. So our minimum size is going to be our minimum diameter here, so 90%. And then our angle jitter, so this is random angle, is 0%. Roundness jitter, 0%. Minimum roundness, 25. If we go to our transfer settings, we can look in there. Opacity jitter, 0. But it's controlled via our pen pressure, which we can change that in a moment. Flow jitter is 0%, so that's going to be there. So most of those are fine. Make sure we've enabled proportional to camera, so when we change our size here, it'll scale the entire brush up. So we go to transparency, you can see you have your maximum flow and your minimum flow, you have your maximum opacity and your minimum opacity, which you can see our minimum here is 40 for our opacity, so let's go minimum opacity 40, and then we can go into our dual brush. So dual brush, you can see it says the size here, so we want to set our maximum size to 110. So you see it's slightly smaller than the actual brush itself. Minimum size is 25%. We could probably set that to the same as the other one, so I believe that was 90. I'm going to leave that as 90, so it looks like an actual physical brush. Most of these are fine. Spacing, I want to increase that since it says 18% there. I'm going to disable the random. If we see the mode here, it says color burn, so it's not multiply. Try color dodge or combine. Let's try color dodge, I think that looks the closest. We don't have to follow our Photoshop settings exactly, you'll never get it exact, so I'm using that just as a guide. I also might want to reduce our maximum opacity as well, just to give us a bit more of that brush look. So 80. I might increase a bit of random opacity as well, just so it gives us a bit more of a brush style. That reminds me a lot of that other brush, although I don't think our random direction, I don't think our random angle is good, so I'm going to increase that up there. I want to increase our random size a bit as well. As you can see, it's not a direct transfer of our brush, but it's close enough that I think it works. So I might want to actually, I think we set our minimum size a bit low, so we want to increase that back up. I think that's pretty close to what it was. That's pretty close to how it was supposed to look. It's not perfect. You'll never get it exactly perfect since the settings are physically different. But that's the process you should go through for each of your brushes, just to get them to look the way you want them to. So you basically set your brush textures and then try and copy the settings as much as possible, and then if you see it's slightly different, you can then modify it to try and make it suit how you like it. Thanks for watching. What you just saw was a video that I shot over a year ago, hence why it's running Harmony 20, but hopefully you enjoyed and hopefully it was informative. Subscribe if you want to see a video going through every single setting within the brush window and how that might affect your brush, so that you can create your own brushes. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.